Hi everybody, welcome to Flosstube number 61. I don't know about where you're located in the world, but here we are preparing for a major snow and ice storm starting just any time. But I'm prepared. I have plenty of good food and snacks, hot chocolate, but most importantly, I have my stitching laid out. I'm charting a new design, and so that's always fun to play with colors and work on a new chart. So I'm ready for the snow. I've got my comfy sweats on and just ready to just let it happen. Tomorrow I may just stay in PJs all day. I didn't really want to scare you guys by staying in my PJs, but next time I might. Today I'm going to come to you and show you my new market releases, and the ones that I'm showing today are all going to be considered market exclusives. I have 7 brand new designs, and I will make all of those as exclusives for the shops that are actually attending market. And I completely understand some shops just can't make it to market, or something comes up and it's just where they can't come. And so a month following market, they'll be offered to everybody. But that's just kind of our way, the shops that do exclusives for market. It's saying thank you to the shops that are able to come to market and attend, because I know that's work too. They have to find somebody to either stay and keep the shop open, or they have to shut the shop down for a few days. So I know as a designer, I really appreciate the extra effort that goes into attending markets. So thank you to all the shop owners that are coming. Please stop in. I'll have my violet cookies again this year, so stop in, grab a cookie, and say hello. And to those of you who have shops and you're unable to make it, I hope to see you sometime soon, and I will be sending an email out with everything for you guys if you'd like to order at that month time mark. So following market, I'll send that out to everybody. But let's get started. I'm excited about my designs this year, and I hope you'll find something that you just can't wait to stitch either. I'm going to start off with one that I call a moment in time. And this one is based off of a little handkerchief size sampler that I found in Williamsburg. And the sampler appealed to me because it had a picture of a little girl in the middle. I have no idea why that was there. It wasn't attached to the stitching. It was just kind of laying on top and then framed that way. So I've had lots of thoughts about it, and we've talked about that before. Whether it was a birth sampler, or if it was just a sampler and they wanted to put the little girl's picture in there. But this is the final product, a moment in time. And I stitched this on perforated paper because I wanted to be able to cut out this opening and have a picture mounted on the inside. And my framer just did that when I took it in. I had cut the opening out, and he mounted the picture behind the perforated paper stitch piece. And so this one I did as a wedding sampler, and that's actually a picture of my husband and I in the middle at our wedding. And I put our initials and our wedding date. So we just celebrated our anniversary this past week, and I had a friend say, did you purposely plan that? You got married on the 13th and Valentine's is the next day. And I said, well, of course I did. Then I get 2 presents. I have an anniversary that we have to celebrate, and then we celebrate Valentine's the day after. So yes, that was planned purposefully. But this is an easy sampler that you could use and personalize to mark any special occasion. You could mark it as a wedding, like you see here. It could also be a birth sampler. You could use it as a mourning type sampler if you wanted to have it in remembrance of somebody. Just lots of ways. Graduation, you could put a graduation photograph behind it, put the name or initials and the date that they graduated, or the place from where they graduated. So in this chart, I'm including a full alphabet and the numerals, so you are welcome to personalize it in any way that you choose to celebrate that special moment in time. The colors that I use in the model are listed, of course, on the chart, but this would be an easy one. There's not that many colors that you could change it. Like if you knew someone you wanted to do it as a wedding present and you knew they had a favorite color they were using for their wedding, then just swap out some of these reds that I have here for their colors. Same thing for a burst sampler. It would be very easy to swap out the colors. So anyway, that was a fun one. That was my first larger perforated paper piece. I've done lots of small perforated paper projects, but I've never done one this size. And it really was kind of fun. So that's a moment in time. So be sure and let your LNS know if that's something you think you'd like to stitch. Now this next one is based off of an antique that I have. It's called Jenkins. And I have charted this just as it is in the antique. The only thing I did was leave off, the original has a huge floral type border, and it's not consistent. It's very, just lots of different type flowers, and to me, it really distracted from this portion. So I chose to leave that off because I really wanted this main portion of the sampler to pop. I love the little cats and the bunnies and the bird and of course the flowers. I'm gonna say they're violets. I don't know that they are, but to me I'm saying they are. And this was a fun one to stitch. Lots of colors in it, so be prepared for that. But I love how it's shaded, you know, the different shades in that rabbit just make him look realistic. Same thing for the bird and the cats. So as long as I am very happy with the end product, I don't mind changing colors so much. So Jenkins. And one nice thing about this particular sampler, I take a lot of mine to get framed. I actually framed this one myself because if you stitch it on 40 count, it will fit perfectly in an 8x8 size frame. So this frame came from Amazon. Can you believe that? And I just had my framer though, did cut a piece of non-reflective glass for me, the museum glass that I could put in and swap out for the glass that came with the frame. But that's kind of nice if you can find a sampler that is a standard size, one that you can put in a frame yourself. So Jenkins. If you like cats, birds, bunnies, you're set. This would be a great one for you to stitch. Then this next one is one that is kind of an original. I just took different motifs from some antique samplers and used to design this one. And the reason being, I saw this quote and just loved it. And you guys know I love verses, violets and verses. So verses is the part of my name that I absolutely love. Lots of times I purchase a sampler based on the verse. It's nice if it has a great border or pretty motifs or something, but the verse is usually what catches my attention first. And so when I saw this quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes, I just knew I needed to do something with it. And it says, "Take your needle, my child, and work at your pattern. It will come out a rose by and by. Life is like that, one stitch at a time." And so as a stitcher, I thought this was really cool. And that's so true, isn't it? We just need to take life one stitch at a time. And so then I added the other motifs to go around it, a border, had to add some little sewing notions in there as well. So this one is called One Stitch at a Time, and it will also be a market exclusive. So let your LNS know if this is one that you think you need. And I think that one I did 36 count. All of them are done either 36 or 40 count. I think that one was 36 count. Then this one is a reproduction of a Scottish sampler that's in my collection. And I love the whole sampler, but the verse on this one is what caught my attention as well. It just says, may we all be one family in heaven. And I just thought that was short, but it was so sweet. And then I love all the rest of the things that are in this one as well. And I talked about the original sampler I showed a couple episodes back on my Flosstube. And I'm very happy with the way this one happened to turn out. So it's got some traditional Scottish elements in it, but it doesn't just scream Scottish when you first look at it, except for all those initials at the top. I think anybody who was even close to being a family member, she included. And then the house was lots of fun to stitch. Usually houses are filled in. This one just has some really neat trim, and the inside is left open. So for those of you who aren't crazy about stitching houses, this is an easy one because you don't have a lot of filling in to do. And it has lots of motifs, lots of birds. I don't know, it looks like a little cat, maybe a deer up at the top. So lots of different little motifs. And the frame I absolutely loved with this particular sampler. I couldn't have planned it, and I didn't plan it. I just went to my local Hobby Lobby, had this frame, and it's a fairly new molding in my Hobby Lobby. It's been there, a few months, but I haven't had anything that really matched it. So I took it hoping it would work, and the green of the frame just picks out like the roof and a lot of the green that's in the sampler. So I was really happy. So if you decide to stitch this one, you just like the final look of how it came together, check your Hobby Lobby out. I'm fortunate in that my Hobby Lobby, the framer has dealt with needlework quite a bit before. So I really trust his judgment on framing. And if I find a molding there that I like, I trust him to put it all together. And so I was really happy with the job he did and how it turned out. So, One Family in Heaven, Margaret Scowler, I believe is her name. So there you go. Some of you I know just like Scottish samplers in general. So if you do, that may be one you want to get and stitch. This next one is a sampler, and it's a reproduction of the oldest sampler in my collection, and it's 1704. And surprisingly, that sampler was in really good shape. Someone was proud of it and took care of it, so I'm glad they did, so I would have it to enjoy here years and years later. This one, because it's a long vertical sampler, I decided I wanted to put it on a spool. To me, spools are so much fun to do, but you have to have just the right sampler or right piece of needlework that will work on a spool. So that's what I did with this one. And I love the color palette. It's the soft greens and creams and tans, and it just was a fun piece to stitch. So this is Rosier, Mary Rosier. I started to say Anne and I knew that wasn't right. And she stitched it March the 4th, 1704. And this was a very easy technique. A friend of mine showed me how to do this type of a spool where I attached the buttons and the ribbon to the spool, and then you can wind it and tie it around the other side. So Mary Rosier. Then the last, no, it's not the last. I have two more pieces. And these are smaller pieces. Usually I've just done samplers, but I had several people request, would I do some smalls? And so I decided to try that for market. It was the first time that I've really done much with the smalls to take to market, but it was kind of fun. This one was based off of a quote by Audrey Hepburn. And I just thought it was cute. And to be honest with you, I love the quote, but I found a little wheelbarrow. So in my sneak peeks on Instagram or my Facebook page, you'll see this in a little wheelbarrow. And I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. And so when I saw that little wheelbarrow, I thought I need that with some of my spring displays around the house. But I think I need to stitch something to go in it. And so that's what sent me to looking for a cute little verse or quote. And I saw this one and thought, there's my wheelbarrow pillow. And it just says, to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. And I thought, yeah, that's really true. If we plant a garden, we're hoping to see the fruits of our labor, aren't we? So that must mean we're planning on sticking around for a while. So I just made a little pillow out of it, kind of ruched some gingham ribbon and put around the edge, and added some flowers, a little bee skep and a bee. And that's my little small for market. So this one is called Tomorrow's Garden. And if you're interested in stitching it, just let your LNS know. Then the last kind of small piece I did, I've had this box, and I'll show you the back of it so you can kind of see the shape. It's hard to see from the front. And it's a little planter box, and I've been wanting to do something for the front of it. And I thought, you know, for market, I've had some requests for some small pieces. I'm gonna do something, and that way I get my planter box fixed so I can actually use it. And I have a small piece for market. And so what I did, I just took this little house off of an antique sampler and found a quote that I liked. And this one is by Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I know growing up, I loved to watch Little House on the Prairie. So of course that appealed to me. And it says, home is the nicest word. And that's true too, isn't it? We love home. And sometimes if we're tired or we've been traveling a lot, when we hear we're getting close to home, that is the nicest sound we can hear, isn't it? So home is the nicest word. And this one, if you're looking for the chart, is just titled Home. And it's a quick stitch. And if you'll notice, I have a little quilt square in the middle. It has an R in it because my last name is Richardson. And so what I have done in this chart is include a full alphabet. So you can personalize this with your last initial. Or if you're gifting it to someone, you can put their last initial. It'd be a great like open house or home warming kind of gift if you have someone that's built or moved and you're wanting to gift them something. So you can personalize it to put the proper last name for whoever is getting this. So that was a fun quick stitch, and it's just another small piece that doesn't take long to do. So those are all of my brand new releases. They'll be exclusive to shops that are attending for 1 month. And at the end of that month, I'll send an email out to shops that were unable to make it. And I'll post the PDFs on my website at that time as well. I don't post the PDFs on my website until shops that have attended have a full month at market. And I don't sell hard copies off of my website either. That's just kind of my way of saying thank you to the shops. So if you want a hard copy, it's definitely, you'll need to purchase from the shops. Sometimes if I'm somewhere with a trunk show, I'll have hard copies. But as far as my website, they will only be PDFs. And so I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I have a few other pieces, and I'll show those to you next week that I'm taking to market to show, just show the models that I've released this last year, but they have never been to market. And I'll show those pieces to you this next week. I have The Lord is My Shepherd, Worthy is another one, and then I have a cute little box that has a tomato, measure twice. And so those 3 pieces have already been released, but they've never been to market. So they'll be going as well. But I'm excited. I'm ready to start getting everything packed up. I've started pulling stuff and getting it ready, and getting charts shipped out to my printer to have finished by next week. And just looking forward to seeing everybody. So if you're coming to market, be sure, stop by. That's one of my favorite parts of market, is getting the chance to visit with everybody. So be sure, stop by, grab a violet cookie. They are really good. And say hello. So anyway, I hope wherever you're at, if you're getting the snow and sleet and ice that we're going to be getting, I hope you're staying warm and getting some stitching in too. So until next week, take care, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.